Hey folks, Lemonade here, and today I'm looking at the new apparent king of egg shapes, but with Huano switches this time. The Aria is praised and loved by some of my reviewer friends, but let's see what I think right after this. Small disclaimer here, Fantech did send me this free for review, but that will never change the outcome of any review on this channel. My opinions are my own, and you are seeing this as early as they are. Okay, let's knock out these specs real quick, and I'll throw those right up here for you folks. Now, I wanted to make a note on the weight real quick and its availability. So in terms of the weight, it's 59 grams with this whole shell, and if you use the full shell, it clocks in at 61 grams. In terms of its size to weight ratio, using about an average of 60 grams, it clocks in at a ratio of 0.85 to 1, which is quite optimal for its size. You can find this mouse on Fantech's own website, AliExpress, and Amazon. Just double check that you're getting the Huano version versus the older Kale 8.0s. Now, I never used the Kale version of this one, so I'm not knocking it. I'm just giving you a heads up if you're really excited for the Huanos. Now, some people are calling this the new Orochi, the Orochi killer, and as an Orochi fan myself, I had to see. But we're going to get into this comparison in a little bit. In terms of box contents, you get a kind of stiff paracord cable, not the best, but gets the job done. It's USB-C, of course. You get pretty solid grip tape, even though they are a little thicker than I prefer. The coating is standard plastic on the mouse itself, so if you have slippery or sweaty hands, you're pretty much going to want to use the grip tape. You also get an extra set of PTFE feet in the box, which, by the way, the stock skates on this are actually really solid. I wouldn't recommend getting third-party skates. So what's new with the Huano edition? Well, that's what's new. It has Huano switches. Nothing else has changed on the mouse itself. And honestly speaking, it's cool that they have Huanos. They're implemented nicely, and having that extra touch of actuation weight compared to, Kales or Omrons, it's satisfying. But I'm not sure that's enough to upgrade or be hyped about. Personally speaking, I was really hoping that they would reveal a V2 with some weight reduction and 2K or 4K polling support, but we're just going to have to wait and see what Fantech is cooking up later in the year. That said, here's a quick listen of all the switches. Now, it of course comes rocking the famed 3395 sensor, and luckily sensor and wireless performance was rock solid. Testing it in mouse tester and CPS, it showed a nice consistent 1K polling, and I had no dropout or connection issues. Also, it does have Bluetooth as an option for people who travel with their mouse. And the software is also very lightweight and has all the settings you would need, like adjustable debounce and sleep mode, DPI stages, motion sync on or off, liftoff distance low or high, and polling rate adjustment. But let's get into the shape and see how much it really compares to the Orochi, and why, unfortunately, I just didn't like using this that much. Now, as some of you may know, I have fingertip grip, and I have hands that are measured at 19.5 by 10 centimeters. So the big reason as to why I didn't like using the Aria is the same reason I didn't really like the Haste 2. It's just too wide for fingertip grip specifically. In the grip width area here, it measures at 61.6 millimeters versus the Orochi in the same spot measures in at 59.5 millimeters. Now, I know that 2.1 millimeters in difference might seem small, but it really does turn the shape into feeling kind of like a fat bulb in my hand. Plus, factor in that you're probably going to want to use that grip tape, which is going to add about a millimeter more in thickness, and it just pushes it to feeling too bulky. And even when we're looking at the other famous egg, the Logitech G305, they actually almost look similar at first glance, but the G305 does this beautiful deep taper on the side that allows you to get a very narrow grip feel for fingertip. Obviously though, that mouse is like 90 grams, so in this day and age, that's just a no-go for fingertip. Now the main reason I don't use my Orochi as much anymore is that it uses batteries and it weighs about 71 grams with the AA lithium battery that I have installed. So who is the Aria for? If you loved the Orochi shape but felt it was just a bit too small for a claw, then this is way better for claw. You just have a bit more grip area here for relaxed claw because it's longer and wider and it sits in your lower palm better, and that provides a more stable hold for aggressive claw players to be able to kind of dig into the mouse. The larger size also just accommodates medium to bigger handed players better. And if you use palm grip and have smaller hands, that lighter weight and larger size will be much more comfortable to use. But sadly, again, for my fingertip brothers in arms, I just don't think that this is the play, even though it's still a relatively small egg. With the Orochi costing as low as like 20-30 bucks at times, there's a lot of modding knowledge to get this thing down to the low 60s. You have a forward sensor position versus the more centered sensor position on the Aria. And at that point, I just think that the Orochi still holds the crown for the best budget fingertip mouse, even if it uses batteries. That all said, listen, I know that fingertip grip is in the minority and claw is really the most common grip type. So for that, the Aria is a huge W from Fantech. They took the Orochi and just made its shape more accessible to a wider audience. They slammed down the weight, they removed the batteries, packed it with great tech, and gave you a lot of extra goodies in the box. All for 70 bucks. I can highly recommend it, and its value is pretty much unmatched for the level of quality here. And on that note, folks, all my socials are down below with the affiliate links for the brands that I trust and use on a daily basis. You can use code LEMONADE to save a few bucks on your gaming peripheral purchases, or code UpgradeLemonade to sign up with our partner Surfshark to get an extra 3 months free. Up your security with the 4 different ways they protect you. If you had a good time with me today, of course, likes and subs are always appreciated. Leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. But until the next Fresh Squeeze video, stay thirsty, folks.